Why do we love megastructures so much? Dyson Spheres, orbital rings, planet-wide cities. Structures so large that they defy physics, engineering, and sometimes common sense. No matter the franchise or story, Star Wars, Halo, Foundation, Gundam, Blame, the moment a massive structure appears on screen, something inside us lights up. But what is that? Why do these impossible constructions feel so hypnotic? Today, we're going to explore the psychology, the aesthetic, and the science behind humanity's obsession with megastructures, and why they feel like the ultimate symbol of our future. Before we understand why megastructures are so magnetic, we have to define them. A megastructure isn't just a big building. It's architecture on a civilizational scale. A structure so large it fundamentally reshapes a planet, a solar system, or even physics itself. Some examples include things like Dyson Spheres, which is a shell or swarm around a star capturing much of its solar output, or ring worlds, which are bands that can range to be the size of Earth's orbit around the sun. Stellar engines, a structure using a star's energy to propel entire solar systems. And of course, the Death Star. Megastructures are civilization turned into architecture. They are world building in the most literal sense. But that still doesn't explain why they feel so alluring. To understand that, we have to go back. Way back, to something primal.
What we do here is go back.
Humans evolved at a very specific scale. Trees, hills, rivers, animals, even the weather. Our brains are physically built to navigate worlds that fit into that range. So when we see something vastly beyond that scale, a structure the size of a moon, our mind enters a state of cognitive awe. It's the same feeling we get standing under a cathedral, or looking at mountains, or your dad pausing to look over a construction site as if he knows what's going on. But megastructures amplify that feeling to an absurd degree because they combine the familiar, art, architecture, human intention, with the incomprehensible, at astronomical scale. It's architecture weaponized for awe, and science fiction uses this to hit a deep emotional nerve. Mankind could do something this big. Megastructures make us feel small in the best way possible. At their core, megastructures are symbols. They tell us something about the civilization that built them. A Dyson sphere doesn't just say, these people have advanced technology. It says, we stopped playing with planets. Now we build on the level of stars. A ring world says, our engineering is godlike. A planet-wide ecumenopolis says, we have optimized every inch of land to sustain trillions. In fiction, megastructures instantly communicate power, stability, imperial scale, near immortality, or complete collapse. A ruined megastructure? That's even better. It tells a story of ambition and downfall in one shot. In world building, megastructures act like shortcuts. One visual is equivalent to an entire history. There's also something uniquely artistic about megastructures. Artists love them because they combine perspective, scale, contrast, and the vastness of space. A ring around a planet, a city stretching to the horizon, a sphere eclipsing a star, a staircase to orbit. Megastructures let artists play with the sublime. They create compositions that feel almost mythic, modern equivalents of divine architecture. And because they're impossible to build today, they exist in the sweet spot between what we can imagine and what we can almost believe. That tension makes them visually irresistible. Now here's where things get interesting. There are a lot of megastructures that are theoretically possible, but practically impossible today. For example, Dyson Spheres, impossible as a solid shell, but a Dyson swarm of solar collectors could possibly be within the realm of long-term engineering, give or take a couple thousand years. Orbital rings seems like it could be doable to create around Earth, but the vast amount of resources it would take to build something that large is unlike anything humanity has ever attempted. Stellar engines, a megastructure that literally moves a star. It's improbable. Highly improbable. But not impossible, again, give or take a couple thousand years. Megastructures sit in a zone where the math works, but the resources, politics, and timeframes are beyond us. That gap between possible and not yet is exactly what keeps our imaginations hooked. Science fiction thrives on scale. Not because bigger is always better, but because bigger makes us think. When you see a structure the size of a planet, your brain can't help questioning, what kind of civilization made this? How do they think? What does daily life look like for them? What happens when something this giant breaks? Megastructures expand the sandbox of our imagination. They give us permission to dream irresponsibly, and then ask, okay, but what if? They're the ultimate world-building tool. But megastructures aren't just inspiring, they're also terrifying. A malfunctioning orbital ring isn't a disaster, it's an extinction event. A failing Dyson swarm could blanket an entire system in debris. A ring world collapse could tear itself apart with the force of billions of nuclear bombs. Megastructures represent ambition, but also fragility. They remind us that the bigger our dreams become, the more catastrophic the failure. This mix of hope and terror is exactly why they're unforgettable. So why are megastructures so alluring? Because they sit at the intersection of science, aesthetics, psychology, world building, and myth. They're the closest thing we have to modern-day cathedrals, monuments to what humanity could become, and warnings about what we might destroy in the process. They're reflections of our greatest hopes and our deepest fears. And maybe one day, if our species survives long enough, we'll get to see one for real. But until then, we'll keep imagining. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more sci-fi deep dives and visual essays. If you enjoyed these visuals and are looking for more, I've linked all the featured artists in the description below. Their work brought this video to life, and I'm just lucky enough to show them. Without artists like them, our imaginations would never make it off the ground. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.